Okay, Hari Om, welcome all of you to today's session on the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, which is called Bhakti Yoga. So, in the previous session, I told you that this chapter follows the chapter number 10 and 11. So, chapter number 10 was Vibhuti Yoga, chapter number 11 was Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga. So, Arjuna is having this dialogue with Sri Krishna Paramatma. And earlier I've told you, this dialogue it has 18 chapters in the Bhagavad Gita. It is 18 chapters. 18 chapters have in total a little over 700 shlokas. And the 18 chapters are divided into three parts. 6 chapters each. Each part is 6 chapters each. And the message of the Gita is the message of the Upanishad. So, Sarva Upanishado Gavo Dogda Gopalanandanaha Partho Vatsa Sudirbhokta Dugdam Gitamritam Mahat. So Krishna says, what I'm saying to you, Arjuna, is not what I'm making up right now. It is the Sarvopanishado Gava. There are these teachings called Upanishads. And I am giving you the summary. I'm extracting the best parts of them, like how a cow herd, he or a farmer takes out milk from the cow and just hands it to you. In the same way, Krishna is playing the role of the cow herd. The cow symbolizes Upanishads, and he's milking the cow and he's giving Gita Amrita to Arjuna. Okay, and what is that Amrita? Very simple. Tat Tvam Asi. The message of you are that. Tat represents Paramatma. Tvam represents Jivatma, Jiva. So Jiva and Paramatma, Asi, Ekatva. This is the message of the Upanishads. This is the message of the Brahma Sutra. This is the message of all the scriptures in Sanatana Dharma and many other systems and religions. Tattvamasi. Now, the 18 chapters, Tattvamasi. 6 chapters for Tvam, which is 6 chapters, which starts with the disturbance of Arjuna. Okay. Tvam, Jivatma. Then the next 6 chapters is Tat, about Paramatma. And the last 6 chapters about Asi, about Jivatma, Paramatma, Ekatva. So from the next chapter onwards, we will move to Asi. Okay, Jivatma, Paramatma, Ekatva. With today's chapter ends the section of Tat. And how does it end? It ends with Bhakti Yoga, with devotion. So today's chapter is about understanding what is devotion. Now, devotion is not after the 10th chapter and 11th chapter. For Arjuna, devotion is now spontaneous and natural. Just the way if you find something very appealing, attractive, glorious, okay, magnificent, you oscillate towards it naturally. You want to be connected to it. You want to relate to it somehow. Okay, and whatever the people have different things. For somebody, it's a movie star. For somebody, it's a politician. For somebody, it's a businessman. For somebody, it's a scientist. For somebody, it's a sportsman. For somebody, it's a beautiful person, beautiful man, woman. For somebody, it's a child. Okay. For somebody, it's some entity, some place. But in all of this, we'll find some similarity. Something that is bigger than me. Okay. Which commands my respect, my love naturally, and it makes me adore it. And what you adore, and please understand, everybody adores something. Nobody is an exemption. Okay? Everybody adores something or the other. Somebody might not adore God, but they'll adore some film star. or sports star or some event or some concert or some beautiful person or a wealthy person. Okay, when I say adore, there's a deep admiration inside. There's a deep desire to become like that. Okay, there's a deep desire to, there's a mental movement towards that. And the principle in life is whatever you adore, whatever you love, whatever you respect, whatever you oscillate towards, knowingly, unknowingly, consciously, unconsciously, you will become that. Okay? What you constantly think about, what has power over you, what you feel is bigger than you and you adore, you will become that. Your life will start becoming, taking that shape in some form or the other. Okay? You will start attracting that same attributes into your life in some way or the other. So if somebody adores a certain, at one point of time in India, after the independence, if there was one political leader that everybody adored, people would start dressing up like them. All the other politicians who aspire to become like that would start dressing up like that. Okay? Whatever you adore, whatever you love, whatever you respect, you will become that. Now, for Arjuna, he has seen the highest, okay, which is Paramatma. What did he see? In the chapter number 10, he has seen the Vibhuti. Krishna Paramatma told him, I am this, I am that. He told the glory of himself. And Arjuna saw that in all, earlier he used to see many. There was a duality. He would see many things. Because of the 10th chapter, Vibhuti Yoga, Arjuna now sees all, but in that all, he is able to recognize the one. Okay? In the many, he is able to recognize the one. Just the way in the many gold ornaments, the ornaments are many, but the one is the gold. The substratum is the gold. So because of Vibhuti Yoga, he's able to see the substratum, which is one, Paramatma, in all. So one in all, in chapter number 10. Now in chapter number 11, he was not satisfied with theoretical. Okay, Krishna, you told me, but now I want to see it myself. And Krishna blesses him with the Jnana Chakshu. We discussed that in the previous chapter. What is Jnana Chakshu? And now, in chapter number 10, Arjuna is able to see all in one. Earlier, he saw one in all, the same Paramatma in all. In the Vishwarupa Darshana, he saw everything getting absorbed into one. All in one. So one in all and all in one. Now, ultimately, both are just one supreme reality, which is Paramatma. Okay? And there's a terrible form of Paramatma. He sees that as well. And he requests Krishna to come back to his form. Then Krishna comes back to his form. And Arjuna, I told you, it was a temporary gift given to Arjuna. Okay? Because the realization requires purity of heart and clarity of the intellect. Okay? A combination of purity and clarity leads to realization. Now, Arjuna, because of the context, because of the situation, he's given a glimpse of the Paramatma, the supreme reality, and he's not able to handle some part of the glimpse, some part of the image, some part of the truth. And now he requests Krishna, come back to your form. So Krishna comes back to his form. But what he has seen, what he has realized firsthand has transformed him now. Now, he is a devotee. He's become a devotee. He's become a bhakta. He's filled with devotion for Sri Krishna Paramatma. Okay? There's devotion that is overflowing in him. because of what he has understood and what he has seen. So, what is the devotion? We'll try to understand today. So, today's session is Bhakti Yoga, the conversation between Sri Krishna and Arjuna on what is devotion, what are the types of devotion, and what are the qualities of devotee. So, whenever we say devotion, bhakti, right? Then the moment you hear this word, there's some images that come to your head. Okay, there's somebody with some tilak, there's somebody in some dress, somebody who's doing chanting, somebody who's doing singing. Okay, that's the image that we get. But in this chapter, Krishna clarifies who is a devotee. He calls out 39 characteristics, okay, of somebody who is a real devotee. A real devotee will have these 39 characteristics. And how do we recognize who is a devotee? What is devotion? Is devotion relevant in my life? So these are some of the topics that we will go through today. Okay. So first thing is, what is devotion? You've heard the word called bhakti. What is bhakti? Bhakti means devotion. Devotion means bhakti. So devotion is, bhakti is, so I was telling you, there is a love that you have. So can you all tell me quickly, some volunteers, not all of them, think of 3 people that you love the most. Okay, think of 3 people that you love the most. So everybody do it. I just ask few people. So, but everybody do the exercise. Okay, everybody ready? 3 people that you love the most. It's a difficult question. Guruji asked me who 3 people I hate the most. Fatafat I'll tell. 3 people you love. Okay, who wants to go? Shilpa?
3 people is difficult, Guruji.
3 people is difficult. Oh my God.
I don't know. It's a short number.
It's shorter than 3 people. Oh,
No,
you have
not
more people.
long. Yeah.
Okay,
If
okay.
I say minimum 4 people, I can say.
ठीक है. बोल दो. 4 लोग बोल दो.
My parents and my kids.
So just tell me. Just tell the sentence. I love
my parents and my kids.
I love my parents. I love my father. I
I
love
love my mother. I love Samarth and I love Shriya.
husband is 5th. Okay.
I don't know. Yeah. As I said, 3 is a short number.
Sure.
So,
Okay. Who else wants to go? Radhika?
I love my mother, my daughter, myself, my husband.
Okay.
My father is no more, so I'm just taking the people that I know are alive. Yeah.
Okay, one last person. Who wants to go? Anita or Naveen?
I guess for me, it's easier because we are 3 of us, the 3 girls in the family. So my wife, Aditi, and me.
Okay. So all of you told, I love my spouse. I love my child. I love my parents. Okay. Anybody, any other different answer? Anybody here? Deepak? I love my car.
The same answer, Guruji. Parents and kids and wife.
Parents and kids. But I always see you with your car more.
Car is a means.
I never see your children, wife. I've never seen your wife. Child, I've seen once, but car I see all the time. So I thought I look up the car more. Okay. So I love my mother. I love my father. I love my wife. I love my husband. I love my children. I love my son or I love my daughter. Okay. Now, what is common in all these statements?
They're related to you. You spend more time with them.
They're related to whom?
I. Society.
I love,
to the small I.
I love my father. Okay. I love my mother. I love my spouse. I love my children. So who do you love actually?
Myself.
Well,
Myself.
the love is always for yourself. You love them because you derive some happiness out of that. That's why you don't love something that gives you pain. I love cricket. Why? I derive some happiness. I love pizza. Why? I derive some happiness out of it. I love some other object, jamun. Why? Because I derive some happiness out of it. Ultimately, what is important? My happiness. Okay, so who do you love?
Myself.
Yourself. Okay. The other person in the picture is only to reinforce that in some way. The moment they stop reinforcing that, moment they stop giving you happiness, so many couples, earlier it is, I love my husband, I love my wife. Then some years later, the person starts giving pain, becoming a pain to each other. Then there's a divorce. Do you know anybody who's got divorced in real life? You know, you've seen, right? In real life, you've seen. Why? What happened to the love? The promise was, I will love you until death do us apart. Forget about death doing you apart. The property doing apart itself has broken the marriage. Okay. Small thing, difference of opinion has broken the marriage. Why? There's no longer happiness. I'm no longer deriving happiness. Okay. Then ultimately, what is my love for? It's for my own self. So who do you love? I love my, you said, I love my father. Why? Is because my father. Okay. I love my mother. Why? It's because my mother. I love my child. Why? Because it's my child. I love my spouse because it's my spouse. For first love is for I. Second love is for my. Okay. Then the third is the person. So I love my child. Child is third, tertiary. Primary and secondary is what? I and mine. Okay. And when something becomes tertiary, in the tertiary bucket, it is a conditional love. It is measured based on so many conditions. I love my child as long as they behave in the way that continues to protect my happiness. The moment it starts disturbing me, my child is no longer my child. Forget about ordinary people. There was a Prince Siddhartha. Prince Siddhartha became Buddha. He renounced his kingdom and he became Buddha. After he became Buddha, he came back to his kingdom. Then his father doesn't even want to look at him. Why? The father wanted him to become Chakravarti, prince. But now he's become a beggar. He's become a monk. That is unacceptable for the father. Okay? So it's a conditioned love. Now, what do you call a conditioned love? What is the other name for a conditioned love?
Is it selfish?
It is called. What is selfish? Selfish is something it for me, right? So what is it called? It's called transaction. Okay. So as long as the transaction is favorable, I am profiting. It is, I call it love. The moment transaction is I am losing, then it becomes pain. The love reduces. So is that the nature of life? Acceptable? Not acceptable. Somebody is raising their hand. Radhika?
Guruji, acceptable and non-acceptable. Acceptable because it is true that we love ourselves, and that is why we derive happiness from others, as you mentioned. But a mother, and being a mother, I very well know that love for my child is not conditional. So how do we kind of...
I'll come to that part. Okay. But first part is clear. I'll come to the relationship between mother and child.
Yeah, first part.
Clear so far? So every relationship, so what you call as love, normally, what you know as love, people tell I love you, whatever love you know in the movies, whatever you call in the poetry, love, all that love is absolute nonsense. It is just a play of words. It is just glorifying something that is not there. Because when it comes to it, when the tire gets tested, that is why very, very intelligently, all the love stories, the movies, they will stop when the hero and the heroine gets married. They don't want to show what happens after that. The love is there. The movie ends with the hero and the heroine gets married. Have you seen the movies where the hero and the movies about after marriage? All the movies after marriage are all about going apart from each other. Have you observed that? If there is a movie where the hero and heroine are not yet married and there is love, it's a love story, it will end happily ever after at the marriage. And all the movies that are about stories after marriage, they're all about going apart from each other and them finding other people. And there it will stop again happily ever after before they get married. So we hear this word called love. So I'm bringing up love because I want to talk about love for God. So first we should start with what you love, I can't jump into directly what is love for God without understanding what is your notion of love. So the notion of love is, so where does this notion of love starts from? So most of our notions, most of our concepts, where do they start? They start when you are a child, when you are a baby. So what is the experience of the baby? Anybody has babies here? So most of you have children, right? When the child is born, the child is innocent, the child is pure, the child is the representation of Bhagwan. The child is Bhagwan himself. Why? Because the child has no duality. The child has no conditioning. The child has no understanding of transaction, no concepts. The child we worship as child is divine. Okay? The child has no hate. The child is pure existence, pure innocence. Okay? Now the child is growing up. It's in the cradle or on the floor or wherever you put the child. The child has only sensation. Please understand. The child doesn't understand, has no thoughts yet. Right? And when I say child, I'm referring to you. When you were a child, your first experience. Okay? So there's no thought. It's a thoughtless experience. There's no word, there's no speech, there's no formation of ideas. It is just sensation. The child feels hunger, the child feels pain, the child feels cold, the child feels hot. Correct? So whenever the child feels uncomfortable, what does the child do? What does the child do?
Cry.
The child cries. Okay? When it cries, the child doesn't know a concept that there is somebody there who will take care of me. The child is just crying. Okay? The child cries. Why? Because it's uncomfortable, either pain or hunger or whatever. It fear or it got scared, it heard some sound, it starts crying. When it cries, there's a big creature that comes to the child. A giant creature. And it's a giant. From the child's perspective, it's a giant. So I don't know how many of you, so when I was young, we used to stay in the first house that I was born in. In my memory, it's a big house, very big house. Okay, it was 3-story house. Okay, and the street is very big. So many years later, so we left the house when I was in school. We built a different house and we went there. When I was around 20 years old, I went back to that street. Okay. When I went back to the street, the whole street felt so small. Okay. And that house that I went to the house, somebody else is staying now, it felt so tiny. But in my memory, it feels it's a very big house. Anybody shares that experience? Right? So the memory that you have of a house when you were a child, it's very big because that's how you perceive the world. So when the child is hungry or in pain and it's calling out, the mother comes, the child doesn't know it's mother. Some lady is coming, the same lady is coming every day. Okay. Later it starts calling it mother. Okay. For the child, the mother is giant. And the moment the mother comes, the mother, consoles the child, provides to the child, probably embraces the child, right? And spends some time with the child. So what is the experience of the child? I was in pain. I was in need. I wanted something. Then I cried out. Then somebody came and I felt secure. You understand? You understood the process? I was uncomfortable. I was insecure. I was afraid. I was hungry. I was in pain. And I called out. Okay. And somebody came. Later, more people start coming. Father, then relatives, right? Then that notion grows. That is the first notion that you build about existence and God. The first concept of God that you understood or came to know was experientially as a child when you called out and somebody came and comforted you. Is that part clear? Any doubts in that? So the more you grow up, that insecurity, the more you grow up, what happens is not only is you'll start seeing, oh, that there's not only my parents and my father and my mother, there's a big world out there. There's a very big world out there. And that very big world makes you feel very small, very, very insecure, very insignificant. And if you observe, when it's a child, it's very comfortable with the parents or with the known people. The moment it's left alone or in a known place, the fear starts gripping it. Okay. So you also start learning that to feel safe, to feel secure, I need to be with my extensions, which is my family. Okay. Because only my family, they've already accepted me, however I am. Somebody new might not accept me. You understand? So there's always a fear. That's why many children have something called as stage fright. Right? Stage fright is the fear of going onto the stage. Why? Because people will not accept me. But the child has no problem singing and dancing in front of the parents or in the house. But ask you to do it in front of other people, the fear grips the child. You understand? So then, if it so happens that the child is in some culture or has an upbringing where there is some connection to the divine, there's some puja, there's some prayer, there's some teaching given of God, there's a God out there. So that notion, the child understands, okay, there's something bigger. You understand? There's something bigger than my parents. There's something bigger than the world. Let me pray to that. So then the child starts having connection with that unknown element. Still now, even right now, the God is only a concept to the child. Okay. Now, why is the child start associating with that conceptual element? Because the child thinks that same program. What is the first program? I was in need, I was in pain, I called out, and somebody came to my help. That same feeling triggers the notion, okay, let us try associating with this unknown entity with out of faith or belief, and let's see what happens. Okay. So it so happens in life because sometimes even the unknown association with Bhagwan, there's no real understanding of Bhagwan. It is just some borrowed knowledge. Okay, borrowed because of some good habit patterns in the house, in the family. You have some habit pattern of prayer, of bowing down, or of chanting the name of God, or of doing puja, or of singing bhajan, whatever, or of thinking about God, or of talking to God. So these uh, unconscious approach towards Bhagwan, what is Bhagwan is not known. It's just a concept of Bhagwan. Okay. Even that, the child finds, or the child or an adult now, finds some solace, some sense of security, and might so happen that something works out in your life. Let's say the child during the exam time prays to this God, and it so happens there's a good and the prayer is for some favorable result. I want some favorable result, personal result, favorable. So this relationship, transactional relationship with the unknown, with the all powerful, still brings some favorable result in your life. Okay, why? Because that notion of God, maybe the idol, maybe the image of God, maybe the word of God, has brought some peace of mind, some peace to the mind. Okay, and that peace ultimately attracts, and there's some manifestation of some favorable result, whether either you got married or either something good happened in your life. Maybe your parents were ill and you prayed to God, the child prays to God, and the parents became fine. Okay, somehow the belief that works. So I know of one of my close friends. They're quite a wealthy family. One of their family members, okay, he's a very senior person. He had multiple properties in the city, and one of his properties, the land mafia, they put their eye on that property, and they called him for a meeting, and they told him, if you don't give us this property, we will kill one of your family members. You will find one of your family members dead in the plot. Okay, it's a prime property, a prime location in the city. So then he comes back home extremely stressed, and he tells his wife what has happened. His wife is supposedly a very religious person. While he has called her, she was actually doing the puja, and she feels, because of her connection with the divine, she tells, you have a woe, what is called a harike. Have you all heard this word called harike? So he tells you do some transaction with God, and God will take care of it. So he comes back home and tells, okay, if this issue gets resolved, I will go to Kailas Manasarovar. Okay, I'll go to a pilgrimage. And it so happens, for whatever reason, in the next few weeks, the issue gets resolved, and he feels that divine touch, and he goes to the pilgrimage, and later he wrote a book about it, and it's also a published book right now. What I'm trying to say is that unconscious notion also, because of your cultural upbringing, because of your ideas about God, although you don't have the Jnana, you still are associating with some notion of God out of belief and faith, doing some puja, that brings some favorable result in your life. You understand? Is that part clear? Have you experienced that in your life? So you pray to Bhagwan when there's probably some trouble. You pray to Bhagwan when you have some need of some specific outcome in your life. Okay? Maybe you are traveling, or maybe your child is writing an exam, or some event is happening in your life, and you need an intervention of some powerful element so that you can feel secure. You understand? Shilpa, is that clear? Have you experienced that in your life? and a response comes. For whatever reason, how we don't know, a response comes. That is the first notion or understanding of bhakti in your life. And this is called apara bhakti, lower level bhakti. So bhakti is of two types, para bhakti and apara bhakti. You understand? Apara bhakti is, it is bhakti, no doubt it's a bhakti, it's still a bhakti. It is devotion to the Paramatma, but the devotion is for something from Paramatma. What is Paramatma? You don't know. Okay, there's no understanding of Paramatma. But there is some feeling which you got from your childhood, that there's some strong element. Okay, there is some unknown power out there. There's some Shakti out there. Maybe if I connect to that Shakti, I'll get a favorable result in my life, is the premise. And that is also called Kamya Bhakti, because there's some desire. You have some desire. And there's a deep duality between you and Paramatma. So you feel, I am an individual, I am Vyakti. Then there's a Shakti. Okay, and there's separation. There's a Vyakti, I'm an individual. Then there's a Shakti, which is more powerful, which is not individual, which has probably power over individuals. Okay, and if I have bhakti towards this Shakti, I'll get some protection, some upliftment, some grace. Okay, so this is the starting point for everybody. Is that clear? And then there is a slowly that same bhakti, kamya bhakti, if it so happens this person gets jnana, matures, transforms into parabhakti. So when we talk about bhakti yoga in Bhagavad Gita, in today's session, we are talking about parabhakti, not aparabhakti. Okay, but Sri Krishna Paramatma also gives a clarity of what is the journey from aparabhakti, kamya bhakti, to nishkama bhakti, to parabhakti. Is that clear? So we started with the love. The love is, I love somebody. Why? Because that, again, going back to the child loves the mother because the child has, the moment the child starts growing, when the child has no understanding of other duality, the child is in pure love. The child is the nature of love. Okay? But the moment the child starts feeling I am the body, the feeling that I am the body comes to the child, and the mother is another body, then the child says, I love my mother. Now there's a duality. There is me and mother. And without the mother, I am incomplete. I am insecure. You understand? Now the mother has a love to the child. The love of the mother to the child is not individual love. Okay? So you love your child. Who asked this question? Radhika, you love your child. So Shilpa, you love your child. There's a tiger. The tiger loves its child. There's a dog. The dog loves its child. Is love personal? Something special to you? Huh? Is it something special? So the love is the love of the divine mother that operates through the biological mother. Okay, the biological mother is only instrumental in the child receiving the love of the divine mother. You understand? So I'll talk about the divine love in the parabhakti. But first I'm starting with what is not love. Okay. Then what is the first notion of love for God that you have, which is aparabhakti, because of the feeling of insecurity that you have, and maybe some cultural input, depending on whatever culture you have, some notion of God you have as some bigger element that can bring me some favorable result and also can bring me happiness. Ultimately, I love God if God gives me favorable result. If God gives me unfavorable result, so we see that in many people, some people who go through tragedies in life, if they lose some loved one, if they lose some family member, overnight they become atheist. Okay. So there was a very popular politician back in, I think, 1 or 2 decades ago in India, who was earlier a very great devotee. Then he lost his wife. Overnight, he became atheist. Okay, there's no God. Why? Because I lost my wife. So as long as God is that, the current of income to my life is coming in, my life is comfortable. My life has money. My table has food. My wardrobe has clothes. My bank balance has money. As long as that's the case, I love God. Okay. The moment something shakes in my life, then that love becomes questionable. Question mark. God is not there. Suddenly you start thinking there is no God because something bad is happening to me. Okay. There is no divinity. Why something bad is happening to me? If there is a divinity, why is the divinity not protecting me? So all these ups and downs is what typically the Vyakti, Jiva, goes through. Is it clear so far? Any doubts so far? Anita,
Guruji,
Deepak, question?
one question, Guruji. You told Apara Bhakti and Para Bhakti, that I understood. But then you told two more things. Kama. You said
Kamya
four.
Bhakti. Kamya Bhakti.
Kamya Bhakti. What is
So,
that?
Apara Bhakti is Kamya Bhakti. Kama means desire. So, the story that I tell is, I've told you this earlier, the story of Krishna and Arjuna. Duryodhana and Arjuna. Duryodhana and Arjuna go to Sri Krishna Paramatma to ask him to come to their side to fight. Duryodhana also has bhakti. Okay? Duryodhana bhakti is Kamya Bhakti. He wants something from Krishna. So Krishna tells, fine, I cannot split myself. One person will get my army, one person will get me, but I will not fight. So the choice is between wealth. So I'm associating army with wealth. Ultimately, it's wealth, right? Army is soldiers and weapons and all that. So strength, wealth versus Krishna, who will not fight. Now you look at your prayers to Bhagwan. Okay, the last time you prayed to Bhagwan, the last time you had a dialogue with Bhagwan, what was the nature of the prayer? Was it, Bhagwan, give me this, change this in my life, or do this favor for me, bring this into my life? Okay, or was it, I want you, I want to merge into you, I want to dissolve into you, I want you alone? Now that is a difference of bhakti and of higher level bhakti and lower level bhakti. Still, Arjuna is not para bhakti. Para bhakti I talk about. Para bhakti is with Jnana. This is Kamya Bhakti and Nishkama Bhakti. Duryodhana is Kamya Bhakti. He wants something from God. So God is not the end. God is the means. You understand? For Arjuna, Krishna is the end. Krishna is not the means. So everybody starts their journey with God as the means to something. No, nothing wrong with that. That's the natural progression. That's how it starts. Okay? I'm only calling this out so that you don't get stuck there only throughout your life. Just because you started from there doesn't mean you have to end there. You understand? Everybody starts with the notion, I want something from God. Okay? And that is the way of life. The Divine Mother is there to bless you with the bhakti. Okay? That God is there to take care of you. That's why it's called Vishnu. Vishnu's job is to take care of you. He's already put you here. He's to take care of you. It's his responsibility. Okay? Nothing wrong with that. But that is still, there's a duality. That doesn't solve the problem. Okay? Why it doesn't solve the problem? What are you asking from God? God, give me something. Right? You're asking for God, God, give me something. Why you're asking that?
Because I think God is different from me. And
No, because you think you are incomplete. The problem is not that you lack the object. The problem is that you feel a deep sense of incompleteness. You understand? That's why you want something from God, some object, either money or spouse or child or whatever. You're praying for something from God because there is a feeling of inadequacy in you. You understand? Now, the feeling of inadequacy in you, whatever God gives, will not be filled. Will only be solved momentarily. So that's why your lists to God never end. When you are a child, you are praying for marks. Oh God, give me marks. Then your prayer changed. Oh God, give me spouse. Then your prayer changed. Oh God, give me job. Then it changed. Oh God, give me children. Then it didn't end. Oh God, take care of my children. As if God doesn't know that to take care of your children. Okay. Then, oh God, please get my children married. Oh God, please get my children job. Oh, then, oh God, please get my children. You see, the nature of it's perpetual. When will you say, oh God, give me you now? That will only come after you recognize what God is through Jnana, which Arjuna got now. Arjuna now has seen the Vishwarupa Darshana. He has got Paroksha Jnana and Aparoksha Jnana. Now he's seeking, I want you, because he has understood there is nothing worth having apart from you, Bhagavan. You understand? Until you think there is something else worth having, which is something else which is more valuable, your attention will be on that. That is why I told you, I started with the premise, what you adore, you will become. As long as you adore some objects, some lower nature of Bhagavan appears in your life as that lower nature. Please understand, the job is also Bhagavan, but that's a lower nature of Bhagavan, Aparapakriti. Okay? The wealth is also Bhagavan, no doubt, but that is lower nature. So whatever you adore wealth, Bhagavan will appear in your life as wealth. You understand? You adore whatever object, that Bhagavan will appear as that object in your life. Until the day you tell with Jnana, oh, Bhagavan is my own self. Okay? Then Bhagavan is Jnana. Then Bhagavan appears as Guru in your life. Then ultimately Bhagavan, you realize in your being as Atma. I am that. That is the journey. Is that clear?
Yes.
Shilpa?
Guruji, what about not asking materialistic things, but what about asking things like, give me strength or give me a sense of calmness to go through a difficult situation? Is that also like asking for some transaction with God?
See, ultimately, you are seeking something from Bhagavan. It is some favorable situation. Either you're asking the direct solution, solve this problem for me, or you're telling, give me the strength to handle. Of course, you've gone to the next stage. You have crossed over. Instead of trying to control the result, you're trying to evolve spiritually. That evolution is ultimately what that takes you to the Guru. Okay, that is the way. That is the next step. So you will
So
start
accepting, yeah.
So you will start from asking something from Bhagavan, objective. Then it becomes subjective. Okay, you no longer say I want object. I want some object. You say I want some subjective experience. I want compassion. I want strength. I want Jnana. I want wisdom. Give me the wisdom and strength to handle it. Right. Ultimately, when you're asking for strength, you're asking for wisdom. Please understand. Because strength is a byproduct of wisdom. You understand? All the inner qualities, they're called sadhana sampatti: shama, dama, titiksha, uparati, shraddha, samadhana. All of them are a byproduct of inner purification and gnana. So if somebody has come to a stage where this person is asking for the inner purity, that means they've already evolved. Okay, but that is still not the end. That is only purity. Then you have to go into the next stage. I want you, Bhagavan. I don't want anything from you. I want you. Okay, so that is the journey. From I want something from you, something outside or inside. Okay. Either I want something from you outside or I want something from you inside. To I want you is the journey. So from unconscious seeking to a conscious seeking to a realization is the journey, is the bhakti, is what I'm trying to illustrate. Is that clear? Shall we go to the Shruti? Is it clear so far? Bhakti. Otherwise, typically, bhakti is associated with some sort of, we convert bhakti into a ritual. Okay, we convert bhakti into some dress. We convert bhakti into some action. What is bhakti is what we really need to understand. Is what Krishna is trying to explain in this chapter. So bhakti is not the bhakti that you know. Okay, bhakti is a result of Jnana of Bhagwan and inner purification. So there is a very nice story of a saint called Gora Kumbara. He's a potter. He's an enlightened potter. Okay, the potter, he's always chanting the name of Lord, and he's going by his day-to-day work. One day, there is a sabha of gnanis in his house. He's invited saints to his house to give food, to offer food. And many gurus, many saints have come there. One of the saints there is called Namadev. Namadev is a very popular saint at that point of time. He is a devotee of Krishna and he's able to see Krishna. Okay, he's able to see Krishna, he's able to talk to Krishna, he's able to see the form of Krishna. And Krishna talks to him. Okay. Then there are other saints in the hall. Then one of the senior masters who knows that Gora Kumbara is a wise man, he asks the Gora Kumbara, you please tell us, who among these people here are matured souls or divine souls? Okay, and the potter has a technique to tell if the pot has is the pot ready or not. Okay, the pot goes through to get the pot right. It goes through various stages, and if it's not done right, the pot will eventually break. So what they do is the potter takes the stick and hits the pot, and based on the sound, he can understand whether it's going to break or not. So he takes a stick, and one by one he starts hitting each of the saints who are present there. When it comes to Namadev, Namadev is very arrogant. He feels that Kumbara will come to him, and he'll not even strike him, and he'll tell this person is very wise. But Kumbara, he strikes him, and he tells this pot is not baked. Okay, and Namadev gets furious. He gets very angry. How dare you say that I can see Krishna? Do you even know that I can see Krishna? He's right there. He's sitting, and he's not my hallucination. He's Paramatma. He's sitting there. Then Kumbara says, I don't know. All I can say is you're not baked. Then Namadev goes to Krishna and asks Krishna. Goes and complains to Krishna. Okay, that this person told like this. Krishna tells he's right. Okay, and Krishna tells, if you need to realize me, you can only see me now, but still there's a duality, you and me. You're seeing my form, but I am formless. You need to realize the formless. So to realize the formless, you need to get a guru. The mistake that you're doing is you think you know. Because you see me, you think you already realized. You need to go and find a guru. Now they ask, where will I find a guru? Krishna tells there's one hill there. Go on top of the hill, you will get your guru. So Namadev goes on top of the hill. On the hill, there is a Shiva temple. In the Shiva temple, there is one old man sitting. He's sitting with his feet on the Shivalinga. Okay, his feet is on the Shivalinga. Then the Namadev gets, he's trying to find a guru, and this person doesn't look like anything like a guru. Okay, and the Namadev gets angry looking at it, and he tells the old man, what nonsense are you doing? You'll go to hell. Remove the feet. The old man tells, I'm too old. I don't even have strength to move. You only keep my feet wherever you want. Okay. Then the Namdev tries to move the feet, and wherever he tries to keep the feet, a Shivlinga appears. Wherever he places the feet, there's a Shivlinga there. He keeps the feet this side, the Shivlinga appears there. Then he realizes, okay, this person is my Guru. And he bows down to him and he gets Atmangnana. And then he has a realization of Krishna. Now, this story is a story of Parabhakti, Aparabhakti, and the process of realization. See, please understand, people listen to all these stories, and again, you start going into some concepts. The person with the feet, the first thing it is to tell, the message it gives is, there's a apara bhakti, which is without gnana. Without gnana, somebody is able to do puja to Bhagwan, somebody able to even to see Bhagwan. Okay? But the realization is to realize oneness, that Jivatma and Paramatma are not separate, different. Now, for that realization to happen, you need gnana. Now, to get gnana, you need the Paramatma to appear in your life as Guru. Please understand, that is the only way. The only way that will happen, even for a person like Namdev, even Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, who used to see the divine form of Mother Kali, ultimately needs a Guru, Sadguru, called Totapuri. Okay, so the Guru, the God appears in your life when you mature to receive Gnana and Bhakti. Okay, then the story that wherever he keeps his feet, a Shivlinga appears. Okay, we start imagining, oh, there's a magic happening. Wherever the feet is kept, a Shivlinga is popping out. No. The message is this: the disciple, when the disciple goes to the realized master, okay, and realizes that the feet of the master is nothing but Shiva only, consciousness. The master gives the Atmangnana. Now, once he receives the Gnana, wherever he sees, he is now only seeing consciousness. Please don't think wherever he sees, wherever he keeps the feet of the master, the Shivlinga is coming magically. No. Wherever he sees, he is now able to see consciousness. Earlier, he was seeing a world of duality. Now, he's only seeing consciousness. So, the other example that I give is the water, ocean, and wave. The water is nothing but, the wave is nothing but water. Earlier, the wave is the Vyakti, individual. It has no understanding of water. Okay? It sees many other waves. It has never seen the ocean. It can never see the ocean. It can only conceptualize an ocean. Okay, there is something called ocean, which is probably a collection of all waves. What is the ocean? A wave can never see it. Please understand. The wave is the ocean, part of the ocean, but the wave can never see the full ocean. In the same way, the Vyakti, you can never see the totality, creation. Okay? You can never see the creation nor the creator. It is beyond your thought and perception. But about the creation, you can have a concept. Okay, there is something big out there. And in comparison to the big, I am very small. You can have that concept. But when the individual, when that wave matures, another wave appears. That wave is called Guru. Okay, that wave tells, I am not a wave, neither are you a wave. I am water and you are also water. Then the wave realizes its own nature as water. When it realizes it is water, when it sees, again, looks at the ocean, everything appears as water to it. Earlier, there was a duality. Okay, earlier there was a Bheda. There was a duality. Now, there is, earlier, the wave was a Vyakti, it was a somebody. Okay, when you're a somebody, there is the other, and the other is bigger. Okay, and you want to relate to that bigger, and that is called Bhakti or Apara Bhakti, lower level devotion. Okay, then you see, the Guru comes to you, you get the Gnana. What is the Gnana? That I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am Atma, self. Then from somebody, what do you become? You become nobody. Okay? From earlier you were somebody. In a day, you are becoming many bodies. At one time, you're a father, one time, you're a son, one time, you're a engineer, another time, you're a spouse, another time, you're a Indian, another time, you're something else, right? You are many bodies and you're somebody. When you're a somebody, you relate to Bhagavan as another being, a bigger being. Then, with the Guru in your life, you realize I am nobody, I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect. I am nobody. I am Atma. Okay? That is inner realization. Then that inner realization with purity and clarity, now you open your eyes, you realize you are everybody. You are water. Whatever you see is also water. Then what you have is called para bhakti. You have love for everything because everything is your own self. That's why I started with whom do you love? You said, I love my wife, I love my children, I love my spouse. Ultimately, you realize that the love is for yourself, your inner subjective experience is what you care about ultimately, right? But when you drop the notion, when you become free from the notion that I am the body, I am the mind, when you realize yourself as a self, as nobody, and when you realize everything is a self, then a true love springs out from you. Your nature, which is love, starts sprouting out from you. Just the way you love yourself now, in Gnana also you love yourself only. But now your boundary of yourself has become everything. Right now, the boundary of yourself is this body. Okay? That's why I told somebody to nobody to everybody. You understand? When you're somebody, you have Kamya Bhakti. It's a transactional Bhakti. There is Bhakti, but it's transaction because God will give me something. Okay? When you're a nobody, then you and God are one. There's no separation. That is why the biggest sign or symbol of bhakti shown in India or represented in India is namaskar. You know what is namaskar? Have you done namaskar to anybody before? You do namaskar. So we teach our children to do namaskar to God, right? What is namaskar? You bow down. You show your respect. You do namaskar. What is namaskara? So Anu, you tell your children to do namaskara. What is namaskara?
Is it bringing yourself and
It's me and the God in me are
Okay.
going down to you.
So one hand represents jiva, individual, me. One hand represents Shakti, Paramatma. Vyakti and Shakti, Paramatma. The Vyakti and Shakti are one. Okay? And the Shakti in me is the same Shakti in you, in the other. There are no two Shaktis. There can be two Vyaktis, but the Shakti is only one. Like, there can be two fans. There can be two tube lights, or three tube lights, or five tube lights. They can be different. There can be a TV, the refrigerator, fan, tube light, then vacuum cleaner, okay, security system. There can be multiple devices, but the electricity that flows through them is only one. The one that operates all of them is only one. The Shakti is one. The divinity is one. So I bow down to the divinity in you, and you are my own self. When will that happen? When my false concepts drop. Now, how will the false concept drop? because of the teaching of the Guru. You understand? So you realize you move from a Kamya Bhakti, from seeking something from Bhagavan as an individual, to a Nishkama Bhakti. Okay? You've moved on to, you've probably understood the principle that earlier you were telling, I'm an individual, I want more, give me more, give me this, give me that. Then you became mature to understand that, okay, the nature of life is if I have to get something, I have to give something. If I want to get something from life, I have to put some seed. And that is called Yajna. You start understanding Yajna. So you'll start putting seeds. You want some money, so you will put some investment. You want some growth in life, you will move in that direction. So whatever you want, you start giving and you start reaping the benefit. That is Yajna. Then, if you're fortunate enough, if you are purified enough, if you have seeking, or if you have evolved enough, a guru appears in your life and brings the wisdom of Paramatma and helps you realize you are nobody, you are not the body, you are not the mind. Then you realize, oh, I am nothing, I am not Vyakti, I am water, I am that. Then you realize, not only I am that, whatever I see, whatever I perceive is that. Now, just the way I had love for myself as an individual, now there is love, a universal love. So a Gnani or a Bhakta has universal love. So it is told that Namdev, right? The story doesn't end there. He gets the Gnana from the Guru. Okay. He has the realization of Krishna. Then one day he's cooking something in his house. There's a dog. There's a dog that he's kept rotis. He's made rotis and he's kept. The dog steals the roti. It just enters his house, his hut. It takes the roti and it runs away. And Namdev running behind the dog. Now everybody's seeing Namdev running behind the dog. They start thinking, okay, he's chasing the dog to get back the roti. But then they look closely. He's running with ghee in his hand, butter and ghee. Okay. Then he's telling the dog, please take this also. Then somebody asks him, what nonsense are you doing? He says, the Paramatma has come to my house in the form of dog. And he's only taken half of the prasada. The full prasada is with the ghee and the butter. I'm going to give that to him. So with Jnana, with the Jnana and the inner purity, the whole world appears as divine. The world that was appearing as a threat to you, as an other to you, something that you had to fight with, something that you had to navigate or circumnavigate, now appears as yourself. And that is called Parabhakti. Do you understand? Do you understand what is Parabhakti? Do you understand what is Aparabhakti? Okay, any doubts so far? Is it clear? Manu, Shilpa, Shantiji, Mithali?
Yes, Guruji.
Yes, Guruji.
Okay, so now we will take up what Sri Krishna Paramatma is telling what is happening in the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So this chapter first initially covers, Arjuna starts with a question. Now he's seen the form. He starts with a question, Krishna, I have seen your form. I have seen, now you have told me earlier, now I've also seen, you have two forms. You have a Saguna Rupa, which is the entire world. You have appeared as the world. Like how the water is the ocean. The ocean is the Saguna Rupa of the water. Then the water is a transcendental form. So there is a Nirguna Rupa, which is the formless aspect of Bhagavan. And there's a Saguna Rupa. There's a Saguna Brahma and there's a Nirguna Brahma. So out of these two, whom should I pray to? Okay. Which is higher? Worship of whom is higher? Worship of Saguna Rupa is higher or worship of Nirguna Rupa is higher? So you are formless. You are beyond perception. Should I worship that Parabrahma, Narayana, who's beyond, or should I worship Saguna Rupa? So out of these two, which worship of which is higher is the question of Arjuna. So what is your answer? Which is better? Anybody?
I think you start with the form and then move on to formless.
Start with the form and you want to move on to formless. So you have to understand this as the Paramatma. So the water, right, can be in different states. It can become a solid, ice, or it can be liquid, like water, or it can be gas. Gas is, you cannot see it, gaseous form. It is all pervading, it's everywhere. River, water is flowing. Then water can be ice. So what Arjuna is asking, which form should I worship you in? Should I worship you in Saguna Rupa with the form, a concrete form, which I can touch, smell, taste, feel? Or should I worship you as the deity, right? As we have many deities. Or should I worship you as Nirguna, the one with beyond the form, the creator? Okay. So I would say I would compare the ice to the Virat Rupa, the totality, the mountain, the tree, the other human beings, the plants, the animal, all that is the Saguna Rupa of Bhagavan. Then what is the liquid form? The liquid form is the same divinity in form, but special form. It is called Avatara. Like Krishna, we worship Krishna Paramatma, or Sri Rama. It is Avatara Purusha. He is also form, but a special form. He is not only ordinary form, like he is not only ordinary human being. Of course, ordinary human being is also Paramatma, but I am able to appreciate the divinity more in the Avatara Purusha. Okay. Then there is a Nirakara Nirguna Brahma, who is beyond. And Krishna's answer is, it is very difficult for people to directly put their mind on the Nirakara. It is like telling a child to understand the principles of quantum mechanics. Okay. Suddenly the child who is learning 1 + 1 is 2. Okay. Tables, 2 tables, 3 tables. You want the child to understand that the principle of superposition, or the theory of relativity, or the quantum particles. So that requires a maturity for the child. So Krishna tells it's better to start with the Saguna form. Now each approach, you approach the Virat Rupa, or you approach the Avatar Rupa, or you approach the Nirguna Rupa. Each of them have their own specific phalas, results. And each of them purifies, no doubt. But it's very difficult for the ordinary human beings. Now Krishna is talking about the lower category of disciple. I told you, he always refers to 3 categories of disciples: Uttama, Madhyama, Adama. The answer that he needs to give now, he's giving the answer for the lower guy. If he gives the highest answer, it won't apply to most people. If he tells Nirguna is the best, most people will miss it, because it's only conceptuals. For Nirguna Upasana to happen, or Nirguna worship to happen, you need a guru. And not everybody is ready for a guru. But everybody is ready for Bhakti. For everybody, Bhakti is very natural. Bhakti is what everybody starts with. And everybody starts with some form, some worship of some Rupa, which they can see. Because I think I'm a body, it is easier for me to understand Bhagavan also as body. So I am a body, Bhagavan is also body. I have wife and children, okay, Bhagavan also has wife and children. I stay in Rajarajeshwari Nagar, Bhagavan stays in Kailasa. Okay, I have some pets, Bhagavan also has some pets. Okay, You are able to, I have eyes, Bhagavan also has eyes. I have a face, Bhagavan also has face. Maybe his face is more beautiful, but he also has a face. So whatever I know myself as, because I think I'm a body, I also think Bhagavan is also a body. I have hands, but Bhagavan maybe has 4 hands. Okay. I have some weapons. Bhagavan also has weapons, divine weapons. I have some jewelry in my house. Bhagavan has divine jewelry. So whatever I know as myself and my life, I start superimposing, and that's why all the divinity, if you see in Sanatana Dharma, is illustrated as a Vyakti with some attributes. So it's very easy for your mind to move in that direction, because mind needs an object to hold. You understand? So when you are angry, whenever you're angry, for example, when you're frustrated, ultimately in your mind, you will objectify it and bring it down to an individual that you can blame or abuse. Okay? It's all because of this person. Yes or no? Or God. If you find nobody else, it's all God's fault. Something, whenever you are angry, frustrated, your mind locks in on one image, one image, right? Because it's imagery is very natural for the mind. The mind holds on to image very quickly, easily. But to formless concept beyond form is very hard for the mind to grasp. That is why our temples have beautiful idols. Now, recently we had the beautiful idol of Sri Rama in the Ayodhya temple, right? It's such a beautiful form. It is easier for the mind to recollect that and for the mind to move towards that. Now, imagine there was a temple and they said, we are worshipping the formless aspect of Rama here. It's very hard for you to connect. It's very hard for you to relate. For you to relate, for you to think that God is reciprocating your love, you have to humanize God. Okay? When you humanize God, you feel that your love is reciprocal. You understand? You understand the principle of reciprocal? I love God. God also loves me. So anybody who goes to the temple, when they bow down to the idol, they have a feeling that the Bhagavan is looking at them. And that brings tremendous peace to the mind. And that's why you feel many times when you go to the temple with a problem, your problem gets solved. Because there's a deep feeling that the idol is not idol, it's Bhagavan. And that Bhagavan, when I'm bowing down, Bhagavan is looking at me, has put his, I have come in the radar of Bhagavan. You understand? And that is the starting point. So Krishna tells to start with the form, the Saguna Rupa is very good. But immediately he clarifies in the next shloka that ultimately Nirguna Bhakti is the highest. If you have to choose between the one, of course, Saguna Bhakti, which is easily everybody can relate to. But the reality is Nirguna Bhakti, which is a result of Jnana, which is a result of Shravana, Manana, Nidhyasa,